My friend Howie Roseman got hit with a bucket of cold water this Wednesday, and the Eagles' offseason just got a whole lot more complicated. The biggest battle in defensive free agency has come to an end, and Philadelphia got left out. We're talking about a $112 million contract that went to another city, and now the Eagles GM needs to find a plan B fast. I'm going to break down everything about who the Eagles missed out on, why it hurts so much, and what Howie Roseman can do from here. But if you're a die-hard Eagles fan, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel right now, because this offseason still has plenty of chapters left, and you don't want to miss a single update. The Eagles' situation this offseason was already tough before Wednesday even arrived. The team finished the 2025 season with an 11-6 record, won the NFC East, but got knocked out in the wild card round by the San Francisco 49ers 23-19, an early exit that left a bitter taste across all of Philadelphia. And with the end of the season came the painful departures. The defensive line, which never came close to generating the same pressure as in 2024, had already lost key pieces. Jaelan Phillips, the edge rusher Howie brought in from the Miami Dolphins at the trade deadline, walked out the door on Monday. Linebacker Nakobe Dean also departed to another team, and safety Reed Blankenship likewise signed elsewhere. 3 defensive pieces in a single day. Now, on Wednesday, came another piece of bad news. The name dominating the free agent market among pass rushers was Trey Hendrickson, and Philadelphia was in the race. Reporter Diana Rossini of The Athletic confirmed that the Eagles had active contact with the player's camp. But then came the gut punch. The Baltimore Ravens closed a deal with Hendrickson, a 4-year, $112 million contract, and the Eagles were left without the biggest prize available on the market. Who is Trey Hendrickson? Let's lay out the context because the numbers on this guy are flat out impressive. The 31-year-old edge rusher earned 4 consecutive Pro Bowl selections from 2021 to 2024. In 2024, he led the entire NFL with 17.5 sacks, the best in the league. And in 2023, same story, another 17.5 sacks. We're not talking about a player on the decline. We're talking about one of the 2 or 3 best active pass rushers in professional football. Lose a guy like that to a conference rival, and the pain is doubled. The question that remains is, why does this hurt the Eagles so specifically? Because Jalyx Hunt, based on what's been reported since the end of the season, was the only consistent edge rusher on the team throughout 2025. Hunt had a brilliant second half of the season, 6.5 sacks, 3 interceptions, 7 tackles for loss, and 19 QB hits over the final 11 weeks. But it was just him carrying that position. Without Hendrickson, without any elite running mate for Hunt, Vic Fangio's defense is left relying on a pass rush unit that already showed serious limitations throughout last season. Now think about how different things would have looked if Hendrickson had come to Philadelphia. Vic Fangio, one of the most respected defensive minds in NFL history, would have had an elite pass rusher to line up alongside Jalyx Hunt. That doesn't just mean more sacks on paper. It means the opposing quarterback gets pressured from both sides at the same time. It means longer coverages for the safeties. It means a much harder third down for any offense in the NFC. With Hendrickson, the Eagles' defense would have taken a quality leap that could have been the difference between an early exit and a deep playoff run. And now that scenario belongs to Baltimore. There's another side to this story that deserves attention. What Hendrickson's arrival in Baltimore means for the conference rivalry. The Ravens already had one of the most physical and aggressive defenses in the AFC. Now they're adding the NFL's sack leader from 2024 alongside a defensive front that was already terrifying. That's not a day-to-day problem for the Eagles, but it's a clear signal that rivals are arming themselves for 2026, and Philadelphia needs to respond in kind. The league doesn't wait for anyone. And this is where Howie Roseman's history as a GM becomes very important. He's been in similar situations before, years where Plan A fell apart, and he was forced to improvise. Remember when it seemed like the Eagles weren't going to land any significant move and Howie showed up with a creative last-minute play? That's exactly the kind of moment that defines whether a GM is elite or just average. Roseman has the track record, the cap intelligence, and the league relationships to pull off a complex trade like the one involving Jonathan Greenard. The question isn't whether he's capable. The question is whether the pieces fit and whether the price Minnesota is asking is reasonable. So what's left for Howie Roseman? The same Diana Rossini revealed that the Eagles GM has been maintaining contact with the Minnesota Vikings regarding pass rusher Jonathan Greenard. The 28-year-old had a solid season in Minnesota. 12 sacks, 59 tackles, 18 tackles for loss, and 4 forced fumbles. A Pro Bowl season, he was in fact selected in 2024. Greenard is under a 4-year, $76 million contract with an average annual salary of $19 million. The Vikings have reportedly been open to discussing trade possibilities due to salary cap considerations. But can Roseman make this deal work? What asset would he be willing to give up in return? Let's talk about Greenard's profile in more detail, because understanding who he is helps calibrate expectations. He's 28 years old, 3 years younger than Hendrickson, and he's currently at the most productive stage of his career. 12 sacks in a single season with the Vikings showed he has the ability to be a consistent disruptor against opposing offenses. He's not the Hendrickson of 17. 5 sacks, but he's a high-level player who could immediately transform the Eagles' defensive front. The case is straightforward. Alongside Jalyx Hunt, Greenard would create a young, aggressive pass rush duo with plenty of years ahead of them. That's exactly what Vic Fangio needs to build the defensive scheme he wants to implement in Philadelphia. Another option the Eagles need to seriously consider is the 2026 NFL Draft. The Philadelphia franchise arrives at the draft holding the first overall pick, and edge rusher is one of the deepest and most talented positions in this class. An elite prospect coming in the first round could not only solve the immediate problem, but also build the defensive line of the future on a rookie contract, much cheaper than Greenard's $19 million per year or Hendrickson's $28 million per year. Of course, rookies rarely come in and dominate in year one, but Howie has a track record of selecting defensive players who contribute early. The combination of a veteran via trade plus a young talent in the draft could be the smartest financial solution available. It's also worth talking about what this situation reveals about the Eagles' cap structure heading into 2026. Any significant move, whether a trade for Greenard or signing another edge rusher on the open market, is going to require financial engineering from Howie. The offseason has already consumed resources with departures and potential replacements at other positions. The draft is approaching, and high-round picks carry enormous value as trade currency. Whatever deal Roseman closes now will directly impact what he can or cannot do between now and the end of the month. Every decision has a domino effect, and the fans will be watching closely every dollar Howie moves around. What a lot of people forget when analyzing this offseason is that the Eagles' competitive window is open right now. Jalen Hurts is at the peak of his career. The offensive line is one of the best in the NFL, and the roster as a whole has more than enough talent to compete for a title. But windows close. Contracts expire, players age, and competitors get stronger. Every wasted offseason is one less year inside that window. That's why losing Hendrickson stings so much. Not just for what he would have meant in 2026, but for what this missed opportunity represents for the franchise's overall competitive cycle. Finally, it's important to acknowledge that this team still has a strong foundation. Jalen Hurts is one of the most complete quarterbacks in the NFL. The offensive line remains one of the best units in professional football. Jalyx Hunt showed in the second half of 2025 that he has the real potential to be an impactful pass rusher. Vic Fangio's scheme, when he has the right personnel, produces elite results. The Eagles are not in a rebuild. They're in fine-tuning mode. But that fine-tuning needs to include at least one more quality edge rusher if this team is going to have a genuine shot at competing for a championship in 2026. What's clear after this Wednesday is that Howie Roseman is operating in crisis mode. He lost 3 starters on Monday, lost his top free agency target midweek. The good news? The season hasn't started, the draft is right around the corner, and Roseman has shown in the past that he can build competitive rosters even in difficult situations. But the fans in Philadelphia are right to be concerned about what they're seeing right now. The question I'll leave you with: do you trust Howie Roseman to fix this pass rush situation before the 2026 season kicks off? Can he land Jonathan Greenard, find a game changer in the draft, or pull off some surprise move that nobody saw coming? Drop your opinion in the comments below, and if this video helped you better understand the Eagles offseason, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss a single update from an offseason that still has plenty of exciting chapters to come.